Hello grade 7 students, welcome to my channel. I'm Mrs. Navodha. In this video, I'll teach you the second lesson of your math textbook which is about sets. Before starting the lesson, let's see what you're going to achieve after learning this lesson. First, you will identify sets and then identify the elements of a set. Next, you will write a set by listing the elements. Then you'll identify a common property of the elements and then you'll write a set. Finally, we can represent a set by a Venn diagram. First of all, let's learn how to identify sets. Here I prepared a little presentation for you to understand about sets. There is a picture collection. We can see flowers, banana, grapes, several numbers and an apple. Now let's categorize these objects into groups. So there is a flower group, fruit group and number group. So there are three groups, or you can say there are three sets here. Just now you learned that a set represents a collection of objects. So basically a set means a group of collection. Now let's define a set properly. A set is a well-defined collection of objects. Well, what does well-defined mean? It is a very important term. Look at these expressions. Numbers from 1 to 10, grade 7 students' names in your school, odd numbers, smart students in your class, beautiful flowers. Among these, some of here are sets and some are not. After observing this term well-defined, we will be able to identify sets among these expressions. Okay, now I have a question for you. What are the tasty fruits among these? This girl says grapes and orange are tasty fruits. Let's ask from this girl. She thinks grapes, apple and orange are tasty fruits. This boy thinks pomegranate and orange are tasty fruits. Now look at the answers. They are different from one another. It's because the word tasty cannot be defined. So this tasty fruit is not well-defined expression. Therefore, this is not a set. By the way, what do you think the tasty fruits are? Is it grapes, apple, orange, or all of them? Just comment down below and see how many different answers there are. Okay, my second question is, what are the red fruits among these? So everybody says grapes and pomegranate. Now this time everybody gets the same answer because it is well defined. Therefore we can say red fruit is a set. I think now you may have understood that if my idea of tasty fruits is completely different from yours, then it is not a set because it's not well defined. But the second statement, red fruits, everybody gave the same answer because it's well defined. So it is a set. Now let's get back to these expressions that I mentioned earlier. Numbers from 1 to 10. What is the answer to this? Yes, we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So this is a set because it's well defined. Grade 7 students' name in your school. You can get their names from the register and write them down. So it's also a set. Odd numbers. What are odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on. We know odd numbers are the numbers that are not divisible by 2. So it's well defined, therefore this is a set. Now look at these two statements. Smart students in your class and beautiful flowers. Smart, beautiful, we call such words relative terms because the meaning of these words will change from person to person. Think about this way. The flowers I think are beautiful may not be beautiful to you. So that's how we are going to identify relative terms. And remember, the expressions with a relative term are not a set. Okay, let's get back to the textbook. There is an introduction to sets. The figure shows the types of vegetables that a certain vendor has for sale. The only types of vegetables that the vendor has are carrots, beans, pumpkins, and ladyfingers. Accordingly, we can state with certainty whether the vendor has a certain type of vegetable for sale or not. Yes, we can see that because it's well organized there. What has been given above is a collection of several items. Such a collection can be called a group. In our day to day life, we have to make decisions on groups, that is, on such collections of items. Now, they have given several groups here. Since we know how to identify sets, let's go through each of these groups and identify them. The districts that belong to southern province of Sri Lanka. If you don't know, there are three districts: Galle, Matara, Hambantota. So this is a set. The odd numbers between 1 and 10. It says between 1 and 10. So 1 and 10 are not included. The answer is 3, 5, 7 and 9. So this one is also a set. The vowels in the English alphabet. What are the vowels? Yes, we know they are A, E, I, O, U. So this one is also a set. The types of birds that are endemic to Sri Lanka that have been identified by the year 2014. Yes, you can form a set of these because they have mentioned the year. The students who sat the grade 5 scholarship examination in 2014. This one is also a set because it's clearly identified. We know the year, then we can look for the names of these students. Turn the next page. Here they have given the definition for the set. Let's read it. A group consisting of such items that can be clearly identified is called a set. So this clearly identified has the same meaning as well defined, and we discussed it. Furthermore, they are mentioning various types of items can belong to a set. Numbers, physical objects, living beings and symbols too can be belong to a set. A set can be expressed by writing down all the items in a certain group or by giving a common property or several common properties by which the items in the groups can be clearly identified. Here they have defined the elements which we'll discuss later. Based on the knowledge that we have now, we can do the exercise 2.1. It's in the next page. Place a correct sign next to each of the expressions which clearly define a set and a wrong sign next to those which do not clearly define a set. From number 1, those who obtained more than 100 marks in the grade 5 scholarship examination held in 2013. Here they have mentioned the year and the range of marks that we should be looking for. So we can identify it. This is a set. From number 2, talented singers. Now you know talented is a relative term because your idea of talented singers is completely different from mine. So this is not a set. Districts of Sri Lanka. We know there are 25 districts and we can name them. So this one is a set. Beautiful flowers. Again, beautiful is a relative term. So it's not a set. Numbers between 0 and 50 which are multiples of 6. So what are the numbers? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42 and 48. So this is a set. People who are fortunate. We don't know that. Fortunate is also a relative term. So this one is not a set. Next we are going to learn about elements of a set, how to write a set and how to represent a set in a Venn diagram. I'll take one example to explain all of these. Consider this question. Represent even numbers between 0 and 10 in a set. So what are the numbers? 2, 4, 6 and 8. We know this is a set and elements are the items that belong to the set. So 2, 4, 6 and 8 are the elements of this set. Okay, let's discuss writing a set. There are three methods to write a set. They are descriptive method, listing method and Venn diagram. I'll use the same example to explain these three methods. In the descriptive method, we write a statement describing the set. We have to write it within a curly brackets and then name it using a capital letter. So how you are going to read this one? A is a set of even numbers between 0 and 10. Next method is listing method. We write down all the elements separated by commas. 2, 4, 6, 8. Then add curly brackets and name it using a capital letter. Now how do you read this? A is a set of even numbers between 0 and 10. Now let's learn about Venn diagram. All you have to do is draw any enclosed figure. Usually we draw a circle and then write down all the elements inside it like this. Then name it using a capital letter. Now that you are knowing these three methods, let's discuss some examples. Okay, now remember, you don't have to write in all three methods if you haven't been asked to. Writing in just one method is enough. But here I'll write my answers in all three methods just to familiarize you with these three methods. Let's read this example. Write down vowels of the English alphabet in a set. What is the answer for that? We know the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. How we are going to write this one in descriptive method? Yes, take any capital letter. I'll take X. X equals, open a curly bracket, then write down the statement of this set, vowels in the English alphabet. Then close the brackets. When you write it in listing method, you have to write down elements. X equals, open a curly bracket, A, E, I, O, U, and then close the curly brackets. When you represent this set in a Venn diagram, draw a circle and then write down all elements inside it. Remember, we don't use commas here in the circle. Then name it using a capital letter. I'll take X because this is the same set we are writing in three methods. Next example, write down a set of all the letters of the word mathematics. So you have to write all the letters of this word mathematics. If you are going to write this set in descriptive method, we are writing the statement of all the letters of mathematics within a curly brackets and then we name the set using a capital letter. I'll take D. Okay, now listen carefully. Here you will learn something new. When you write it in listing method, if you write it as D equals, open a curly bracket, mathematics. If you write it like this, then it's wrong. Why is that? Because elements in a set do not repeat. We write each element only once. Look at here. M is repeated twice and A is repeated twice. Because of that, this is wrong. So how we are going to write it? B equals, open a curly bracket, then write down mathematics. So this one is the correct one because you can see the elements do not repeat here and every letter is written in this set. So we learned something new here. What is that again? Elements in a set do not repeat. Let's discuss another example. Write down a set of multiples of 3. So what are the multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It goes like that and never ends. So we can't write down all of them. Then how we are going to represent it in a set? You can write down few elements of the set and then place 3 dots or 3 periods and then close the brackets. So we can write, I'll take C to name the set. C equals 3, 6, 9, 12 and so on and then close the brackets. So these 3 dots or 3 periods tell you that the elements are keep going like this and it never ends. Okay, now let's get back to the textbook. We discussed exercise 2.1. Now let's move on to the next topic, writing a set. Here they have mentioned 2 methods to write a set. First one is writing a set by listing the elements of the set within curly brackets. So this is the listing method. A set can be expressed by writing the elements of the set separated by commas within curly brackets when it is possible to list all the elements of the set. So we know when you're writing a set in the listing method, we write all the elements if it's possible within curly brackets and separated by commas. The set consisting of the elements 913 is written as the set of 913. Yes, we know this is the set of the elements of 913 and also the same set, this set of 913. can be written as the set of 139 or the set of 931 or the set of 193. So you may see the difference in the appearance because the order of the elements is different from one another. But these all four sets are same. So what you have to learn here is that the order of the elements doesn't matter. Here they have given another example, the elements of ABD 913, and they have given three different ways to write the same set. A set of 139 ABD, or a set of 1A3B9D, or a set of A13B9D. All these are same because the order of the elements doesn't matter. And you know, when you are naming sets, we always use the capital letters to name it. And they have given an example here. Let B be the set of letters of the word integers. Let us express B by writing its element within curly brackets. So now you know we do not repeat elements in a set. In this word integers, E repeated twice. But when you write it in a set, we only write E once, like this. So the set of B is INTEGRS. Here the element is written just once. That is, even if an element appears several times within a group, it is written only once when it is written as an element of a set. Let's read this one. Writing a set by specifying common properties. Common properties. So we discussed this method under the descriptive method. A set can be expressed by writing a common property or common properties of the elements within curly brackets. For example, we can write down the set of even numbers between 1 and 10 like this. The set of even numbers between 1 and 10. So this is the descriptive method. And also, if you want to write down the set of the types of birds endemic to Sri Lanka that have been identified by the year 2014, you can also write it as a set of types of birds endemic to Sri Lanka that have been identified by the year 2014. Here they have used the descriptive method to write the set. And also, there are large numbers of such types of birds. It is difficult to list them all down. So this way is better to write this set. And look at this example, the set of all odd numbers greater than 0. So you can write it in descriptive method like this, a set of odd numbers greater than 0, or you can list them down as a set of 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on. So you see that they have used 3 dots here because we can't list them all down because it's never ending. The odd numbers greater than 0 are never ending. It goes forever. So that's why we used 3 dots here. They have mentioned it in here to indicate the remaining elements and ellipses. That means 3 periods can be used within a curly brackets after the few elements. Then how can we write down the set of positive integers? Open a curly bracket, then write down few elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place 3 dots and then close the bracket. And remember, we can't write this set, the types of birds endemic to Sri Lanka that have been identified by 2014, in this manner. We used 3 dots for number sets like that because we know the next number and the next after that like that. But we don't use 3 dots to the sets such that the types of birds endemic to Sri Lanka that have been identified by 2014. We do not write this type of sets in this manner. Let's discuss example 1. Example number 1. Write the set A equals prime numbers between 0 and 15 by writing all the elements that belong to A within curly brackets. First of all, I'll quickly remind you what the prime numbers are. Here I have written numbers from 1 to 10. Now let's write down all the multiplications. 1 equals 1 times 1. 2 equals 1 times 2. 3 equals 1 times 3. 4 can be written as 1 times 4, and also you can write it as 2 times 2. So what I am doing here, writing down all the possible multiplications. 5 equals 1 times 5. 6 equals 1 times 6. And also you can write down 2 times 3. 7 equals 1 times 7. 8 equals 1 times 8. And also 2 times 4. 9 can be written as 1 times 9. And also 3 times 3. 10 equals 1 times 10. And 2 times 5. Here we have written each numbers in multiplication form. So these are factors. You can say 1 and 8 are factors of 8. Also 2 and 4 are factors of 8. Here 2 and 2 are factors of 4, like that. Now I'm going to write down how many different factors there are for each number. 1 times 1 equals 1. So we are looking for different numbers among factors. There is only number 1. How many different numbers are there? For number 2, 1, 2. Two different factors. For number 3 also 1, 2. For number 4, 1, 4, 2, 2. 2 has repeated. We only count once. 1, 4, 2. So there are 3 factors for number 4. Consider 5, 1 and 5. So for the number 5, there are 2 factors. For number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different factors. For number 7, 2 factors. For number 8, 1, 8, 2, 4. 4 factors. For number 9, 1, 9 and 3. 3 factors. For number 10, 1, 10, 2, 5. 4 factors. Now I'll define what are the prime numbers. Prime numbers are the numbers that have only 2 different factors. Now look at here again. Number 1 has only 1 factor, so it's not a prime number. 2 and 3 have 2 different factors, so these are prime numbers. Number 4 has 3 different factors, then it's not. Number 5 has only 2 different factors, so it's a prime number. Number 6 has 4 factors. Number 8 has 4 factors, so these are not prime numbers, but number 7 is. Number 9 and 10 have more than 2 factors, so these are not prime numbers. Now reminding that what are the prime numbers up to 20? Yes, starting with 2. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. After that, 13. Very good. And the number after that? Yes, 17. So how we are going to identify prime numbers? It has only 2 factors, 1 and the number itself. Or you can think other way around. Prime numbers are only divisible by number 1 and itself. Okay, in the first question, they are asking to write down all the elements that belong to the set A. Set A equals prime numbers between 0 and 15. So what are the prime numbers? A equals, open a curly bracket. Prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Are we going to write down 17? No, because they ask to write prime numbers between 0 and 15. So 0 and 15 are not included. Now close the bracket. In Rome number 2, they are asking, are number 1 and 17 elements of the set A? So what is your answer? No, they are not elements of set A. Because now we know number 1 is not a prime number. Number 17 is a prime number, but it's greater than 15. Here we are writing only prime numbers between 0 and 15. So 17 is not included in this set A. So let's write down that. No, they are not. Number 1 is not a prime number and 17 is greater than 0. Example number 2. Okay, read with me. B is a set of the positive integers that are multiples of 3. Write the elements of B within curly brackets. So we can write down B equals, open a curly bracket, positive integers that are multiples of 3. So what are the multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and it goes like that and never ends. So we place 3 dots and then close the bracket. Next topic, representing a set by a Venn diagram. So far we know there are 3 methods to represent a set, and here they have given all 3 methods. So can you remember which method is this? Yes, this is the descriptive method. And which method is this? Yes, this is the listing method. And when you represent in this manner, we call it Venn diagram, and it's the third method that we discussed earlier. In this paragraph, they are mentioning when you represent a set in this way, we call it a Venn diagram. This method was introduced by the English mathematician John Venn. That's why we call it a Venn diagram. Turn the next page. Example number 1. Read it with me. A set P has been represented by a Venn diagram. From number 1, write down the set P by writing its elements within curly brackets. So we can write it down. Take the same letter P equals, open a curly bracket, and then write all the elements inside of P. The order doesn't matter. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Then close the bracket. So if you have written it like 16, 9, 4, 25, 1, it's also correct. The order of the elements doesn't matter. Problem number 2. Write P in terms of a common property by which the elements of P can be clearly identified. So they are asking to write it in descriptive method. So you know these are the square numbers. So we can write it down. P is a set of square numbers. Next, you have to mention the range of these square numbers. It starts with 1 and ends with 25. You can write from 1 to 25. If you want to write down square numbers between 1 and 25, then it's wrong, because here 1 and 25 are not included, but in our set they are. But you can write it between 0 and 26. Now this one is correct. So 1 and 25 are included in this time. That's another way to write down. Now let's read example 2. A is the set of positive whole numbers from 1 to 9. Write down the set A in terms of a common property of its elements. Then you have to write down the set A by listing its element, and finally you have to represent it in a Venn diagram. We can write down the same statement that they have given here. Positive whole numbers from 1 to 10. For row number 1, A is the set of A is a set of positive whole numbers from 1 to 10. Then close the bracket. So what are the positive numbers from 1 to 10? When you write it in elements, you have to write down all the numbers from 1 to 10 separated by commas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now close the bracket. In row number 3, you have to represent it in a Venn diagram. Draw any enclosed figure. Usually we draw a circle, and then write down all the elements inside the circle. And then name it using the same capital letter. Now let's do exercise 2.2. Exercise 2.2. Express each of the following sets by writing all the elements of each set within curly brackets. So you have to write these sets by writing all the elements. That means you have to write all these sets using listing method. Question number 1. Problem number 1. A equals, open a curly bracket. What are the days of the week? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now close the bracket. Problem number 2. B is a set of prime numbers between 0 and 10. So we can write down B equals, open a curly bracket. What are the prime numbers between 0 and 10? Yes, now we know 2, 3, 5, 7. The next number is 11, but it's greater than 10. So close the bracket. Problem number 3. C is a set of multiples of 4 between 0 and 25. So how can we write down? C equals, open a curly bracket, multiples of 4. What are the multiples of 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. The next number 28 is not included in this set because they are asking multiples of 4 between 0 and 25. Then close the bracket. Problem number 4. D is a set of letters of the word diagram. Now write down diagram in your sketch paper and check whether how many letters have repeated. Here A repeated twice. Let's cut one of them. Now we can write the set D equals, open a curly bracket, D, I, A, G, R, M. So these are all the letters of the word diagram. Problem number 5. E is the set of districts of the Western Province. So what are the districts of the Western Province? Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara. Close the bracket. Problem number 6. F is a set of digits of the number 21,412. Let's write this number in your sketch paper, 21,412. So you have to list down all the digits of this number. 2 has repeated twice, 1 has repeated twice. Let's cut one of each. F equals 2, 1, 4. These are the digits of this number. Problem number 7. G is a set of multiples of 6 from 1 to 10. So you get only one multiple between 1 and 10. It's number 6. Let's write it. G equals 6. The set G has only one element. Now let's read part B. For the sets defined above, state whether the following statements are true or false. I'll write down part B answers here. Part B, Room number 1. Saturday is an element of A. This is the set A, and you can see Saturday is written here. So yes, Saturday is an element of A. So this one is true. Room number 2. P is an element of D. This is the set D, and P is not an element of this set. P is not written in here. So that makes the second statement false. Room number 3. All the elements of C are even numbers. Check out all the numbers in the set C. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So all these numbers are divisible by 2. That makes the elements of C are even numbers. So the third statement is true. From number 4. Any multiple of 3 from 1 to 10 is an element of G. First of all, what are the multiples of 3 from 1 to 10? 3, 6, and 9. The next number is 12, but we can't write that down because it's greater than 10. Now let's look at the elements of the G. We have only one element. It's number 6. So in the fourth statement, they are saying any multiple of 3 from 1 to 10 is an element of G. So it's false. Question number 2. Express each of the following sets in a different form by writing all the elements of each set within curly brackets. Then they are also asking to represent each of these sets by a Venn diagram. So they have given 5 sets here in descriptive method. You have to write them down in listing method and Venn diagram. Question number 2, Rome number 1. P is a set of prime numbers less than 10. So how we are going to write down that in listing method? P equals, open a bracket, prime numbers less than 10. 2, 3, 5, 7. That's it. The next prime number is 11 and it's greater than 10. So we are not going to write that. Now let's represent this set in a Venn diagram. 2, 3, 5, 7. And then name it using the same capital letter P. From number 2. Q is a set of colors of a rainbow. So what are the colors of a rainbow? We remember that as V, I, B, G, Y, O, R. So these are the initial letters of the 7 colors. Now let's write down violet. I represent indigo. B is for blue. G for green. Y for yellow. O for orange. R for red. Close the bracket. Now let's represent it in a Venn diagram. I'm drawing enclosed figure. It's more like an ellipse. Okay. Now write down all the 7 colors inside this figure. Then name it using same capital letter Q. From number 3. R is a set of letters of the word number. Write down number in your sketch paper and then check whether the letters have repeated or not. Number. None of letters have repeated. Now let's write down them. Set of R equals, open a curly bracket, N, U, M, B, E, R. Close the bracket. To represent it in a Venn diagram, draw a circle and then write down all the elements inside it. Number and then name it. Row number 4. S is a set of whole numbers between 0 and 7. It says between, so 0 and 7 are not included in this set. So what is the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't write down 7. Draw a circle and then write down all the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then name it. Row number 5. T is a set of districts of the southern province. T equals, open a curly bracket. What are the districts of the southern province? Yes, Gaul, Matara, hambantota. Close the bracket. Question number 3 from number 1. K is a set of 4, 8, 12, 16 and 20. Represent the set K by a Venn diagram. All you have to do is draw a circle and then write down the elements inside it. 4, 8, 12, 16 and 20. And remember to name it. This is the set K. Problem number 2. Write down the set K in terms of a common property of its elements by which the elements can be clearly identified. So these are the multiples of 4. So K equals, open a bracket, multiples of 4. And it ends in 20. So you have to write down the range. We can say from 1 to 20. Or you can say multiples of 4 between 0 and 21. Question number 4. The set X has been represented by a Venn diagram here. You can see the elements are A, E, I, O, U. Problem number 1. Express the set X in a different form by writing the elements of X within curly brackets. They are asking you to write down it in listing method. Question 4. Problem number 1. So X is a set of, open a curly bracket, write down all the elements A, E, I, O, U. Close the bracket. Problem number 2. Write down the set X in terms of a common property of its elements by which the elements can be clearly identified. Common property, that means they are asking you to write down this in a descriptive method. So these are the vowels in the English alphabet. Close the bracket. Question number 5. Represent the set of multiples of 5 between 6 and 25. It says between, so 6 and 25 are not included. Then what are the elements of this set? Multiples of 5. We can't write down 5 because 5 is less than 6. So the next number is 10, 15, 20. Can we write down 25? No, because 25 is not included. Problem number 1. By writing down a common property by which the elements of the set can be clearly identified. Okay, they are asking to write down it in a descriptive method. So either you can write down multiples of 5 between 6 and 25 which is given, or you can think about other way to write it. Let's write multiples of 5 from 10 to 20. Then close the bracket. Problem number 2. By writing all the elements of the set within curly brackets. Y equals, open a bracket, then write down the elements 10, 15, 20. Close the bracket. Problem number 3. By a Venn diagram. Draw a circle, then write down 10, 15, 20. And remember to name it. Here they have given a summary. Let's read it. A group of items that can be clearly identified is defined as a set. And the items in a set, we call them its elements. A set can be expressed by writing the elements of the set separated by commas within curly brackets. An element of a set is written just once when the set is expressed in terms of its elements. A set can be expressed by writing a common property or common properties of the elements by which the elements can be clearly identified within curly brackets. And finally, a set can be represented by a Venn diagram. Okay, this is the end of the lesson. I hope you find it useful. Subscribe and click the notification so you'll be notified when I upload more lessons. Thank you everyone. See you in another video.